morning. Morning, everybody. How's it going, Becca? I pinned you the thing. This is the soap I was talking about, Becca. She said they lost their minds and they would not, like, she's having trouble conserving it to keep it long enough to, like, use longer. I only gave them 3. I split it up amongst a bunch of kids I know, so I just bought the whole kit, and then I just took, like, 3 and 3 and gave them to different households. They lost it. Also, the 3-year-old in our neighborhood. Good morning, Brittany. I gave some to her for her birthday. The kids just lose their mind over it. It's apparently great. I haven't used it yet because I think my baby's too small. But for bigger kids, like, 2, 3, 4, 5, lose their mind. So, there you go. That is it. I worry about soy skin. That is fair. That's totally fair. Yeah. She said that her kids didn't have any issues, but a skin sensitivity they don't really have that, other than, like, things as white as they come, but you know what I mean. Down to the wire on this book. I can't believe it, but it is true. All right. I'm gonna have me some of that cinnamon candied tamarind again because it tastes like Christmas, and it is indeed the Christmas season, so no one can stop me. Try to stop me, I dare you. Dare you. You can't. So seaweed. Yes. struggle busing too. We slept like medium last night, I would say. She only woke up 4 times, but they weren't so bad. And she's asleep right now, so take the wins where you can. You know what I'm saying? Take the wins where you can. Tastes great. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay, let's sit down gently. Let's go. Get the tripod. Put you guys on the tripod. Here you are. You're on the tripod. We love to see it. I know, baby sigh. The babiest of sighs, as if she has any struggles in this world. Okay, where's our book? Where is our book? Where is our book? Where are you, book? There's the hardback. Here's the regular book. Okay, that's the book that we're reading. Guys, can you believe we are almost done with the whole series? It's kind of mind-blowing, right? If I order stuff you have in the bag, do you benefit? Yes, that's correct. I do. Okay, so here's the sitch with our books. We're so close to the end of this book, which is heartbreaking, as Jen has expressed here, but there's 3 more. You guys, we're not out of this world entirely. We're gonna return to this world, sort of, right? Okay, so the Tale of Magic series, just so that everyone can like mentally prepare themselves, is a prequel series to this series. So some of the characters from this series will be revisited, but not all of them. So enjoy the last few moments with these characters before we say goodbye here, because we only have 4 chapters left, which is like 2 days for us, you know? So that's where we're at. So just brace yourselves. If I remember correctly, we cried a lot at the end last time. I mean, I don't think it's unpopular at all, Jen. I think for me, it depends on where I am in the reading. You know what I mean? Like, when we read Tale of Magic the first time, exactly what Naisa said. I was afraid that we weren't gonna feel the same pull. We did. You know what I mean? So like, no fear. You fall in love with the new characters just as much as you did with these. Some cases more. Like, Anya knows, Anya just joined. There's some characters in the new books where you're like, they're so fun, you know? And that's all I'm gonna say, because we don't do spoilers in this book club. But anyway, let's go ahead and get reading while we have the time, while she's still asleep. We are on chapter 20, you guys, if you can believe that. There are only 24 chapters in this book, and we are on chapter 20. Look at this. It's basically nothing left, but we're gonna go now. But I also came in the middle of this lesson. Yes, that is true as well. So I think that does play a part in it as well. You know, it just depends, right? Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, the fact that there's only 3 books in the prequels is really the biggest problem with them that I have. Yeah, they were totally unexpected. You could not have asked me to guess what that series, the prequels were going to be about. You couldn't have had me guess. There's like no spoilers in this at all. Like, but like when you put it together, it all makes sense. But like, couldn't have guessed. I would have been staring at the computer forever, going like da 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 da. Yeah, 6 at least. But let's go while we have the time. This is called Times Square Square Off. Page 360 for anyone who's keeping track for their Goodreads. And here we go. The spiraling light whirled out of Central Park and transported Alex and the lion statues to Times Square. They landed on the rooftop just below the Times Square ball that drops every New Year's Eve. The world-famous intersection was completely empty, but all the flashing lights, the illuminated billboards, and the giant video screens had been left on during the evacuation. Alex sat on the edge of the roof and sobbed over the death of her friend. The curse made her emotions skyrocket, but she was consumed by much more than just grief.
Her head was filled with thoughts of guilt. It was her fault that the witches had invaded the other world. She was to blame for all the damage and the fear that they would cause. If it weren't for her, Rook would still be alive. Alex tormented herself and subconsciously caused vines and ivy to grow up around the buildings of Times Square. Soon the entire square was covered in plants. Eventually, Connor and his friends and the Fairy Council stepped into the square. Thanks to all the vegetation, they knew they were in the right place. "I see her," Connor announced. "She's up there, under the New Year's Eve ball." The lion statues leapt off the roof and landed on the ground. The impact was so strong, Times Square rattled, and the lions left paw prints in the pavement. Just as they had done at the library, the lions guarded the building and wouldn't let anyone get close. "Alex, I know you're experiencing something unimaginably painful right now, but it's very important that you listen to us," Emeralda called up to the roof. "The curse you're under stemmed from a very powerful and very evil magic mirror. It's making you think things that aren't true. They aren't real emotions, and it's disturbing you and your point of view. As difficult as it is, you cannot trust anything that your mind or your body is telling you. The magic only has one purpose: to destroy everything that its host holds dear. If you let it deceive you, all will be lost." "Hey, Jillian." "But it's my fault," Alex cried. "If I found my Uncle Lloyd sooner, none of this would have happened. If I had stopped the witches in the fairy tale world, none of them would have come to the other world. And if I had just forgiven Rook, he wouldn't have felt the need to prove himself and save me." "Alex, none of that is true, because I'm the one to blame," Emeralda confessed. "You knew that the masked man was dangerous, and you did everything you could to stop him. I'm the one who didn't believe you. I'm the one who demanded you call off the search, and I'm the one who thought that you were being irrational instead of recognizing the signs of the curse. And because of my mistakes, I wasn't there to help the kingdoms when the literary army attacked. I wasn't there to stop the witches from traveling into the other world, and I am the reason that Rook is dead. I take full responsibility for everything that has happened, and now I need your help to fix it. So please, come down from there, and we can fix this curse together." Emeralda seemed to ease Alex's suffering, but only slightly. Alex searched deep inside her soul and found the strength to block out all the terrible thoughts and feelings the curse inspired. She dried her tears and mustered the courage to join her friends and family below. Not so fast. Marina walked out from around a corner and stood between the lion statues. As soon as the witch's presence was known, Alex lost all self-control, and the curse took over completely, returning her to Marina's command. "Why can't you people just stay where I leave you?" Marina asked. "Let my sister go, Marina," Connor demanded. "Sorry, but no can do," the witch said. "I've got big plans for your sister, and sadly, you'll just have to take my word for it because none of you will be alive by the time we're through with them." "Haven't you caused enough damage?" Emeralda asked. "Actually, I've just begun causing damage," the witch said. "Alex, hold down your friends so we can finish what you started." And Alex just nodded and waved her hand over Times Square. Vines shot out of the ground near the Fairy Council's feet and pinned them to the pavement. Long electric cables shot out of the giant video screens and wrapped around Connor, Bree, Red, and Froggy, holding them against the billboard banners above the street. The lion statues leapt into the air and tackled Mother Goose and Merlin to the ground. "Good girl," Marina said. "Now, I want you to destroy everyone and everything in this miserable world, starting with New York City." Alex nodded again and levitated into the sky, high above Times Square. She summoned more vines to grow across the island, working their way through one neighborhood at a time. The plants wrapped around the buildings, trees, cars, street lamps, mailboxes, crushing everything in their path like a tsunami of hungry anacondas. "Since your plan didn't work, you're going to take it out on the whole world, is that right?" Connor asked. "Well, in a nutshell, yes," Marina said with a sinister smile. However, the witch's smile vanished when she discovered Froggy was pinned to a billboard above her. "Charlie," she shouted, "how did you escape the magic mirror?" "I performed a good deed," Froggy said. "That's a selfless act that one commits for the benefit of someone else, in case you're wondering how they work." "Impossible," she declared. No one can leave the magic mirror once they're trapped inside it. That was the whole point of imprisoning you in one. Oh, that's odd, because I can name 3 people who've been freed from them, Froggy said. Perhaps if you were better informed, you might accomplish one of the atrocious plans that you have set forward. Marina glared at the frogman. There will be no returning from where I send you next, she said. That is a promise. The witch raised an open hand toward Froggy and then clenched it into a tight fist. The gesture caused the cable around Froggy's body to squeeze and choke him. The sight of Marina torturing Froggy made Red's blood boil, and when the witch wasn't looking, the young queen managed to free her left hand. She reached into her purse and retrieved the Swiss Army knife that she had bought at the airport, and she quickly cut herself free and landed on the ground. Leave the frog alone, you goat, Red yelled, and the witch turned around and was very amused to see that Red was challenging her. Well, if this isn't the most pathetic thing I have ever seen, Marina said. You actually think that you can stop me? Underestimate me all you want, Red said. It's much easier than facing the truth, isn't it, Marina? And, what truth is that? The witch asked. How sensationally jealous you are of me, Red declared, and Marina howled with laughter. Connor and the others eyed each other nervously. They had no idea where Red was going with this. You think that I am jealous of you? The witch asked. Yeah, well, so far, you've ruined my wedding, you cursed one of my best friends, you trapped my fiancé in a magic mirror, and now you're strangling him in front of me, Red said. If it isn't a personal vendetta, then I don't know what is. Obviously, something is fueling your obsession with ruining my life, and if that doesn't reek of jelly, I don't know what does. Please explain how someone like me could be jealous of someone like you, Marina said. I've gutted canaries with higher intelligence. Like most aspects of my life, brains have nothing to do with it, Red said. Face it, you're envious of my beauty. Excuse me? The witch said. Oh, you heard me, Red said. I have flawless skin, beautiful eyes, fantastic hair, and a naturally high metabolism, but I'm like also kind, considerate, giving, and I'm a good friend. I'm just as gorgeous on the inside as I am on the outside, and no matter how many potions you drink, no matter how many enchantments you make, there will always be a selfish, greedy, helpful, ugly goat inside of you. The queen's words hit the witch right where it hurt the most. Marina was so outraged that her eyes turned red and the blood in her veins became black. Red's friends in the fairy council closed their eyes, terrified to see how the witch would respond to this. You really are the biggest idiot in the universe, Marina said. I consider this a favor to mankind. And the witch pointed both hands at Red. A bright violet light blasted from the tips of her fingers. Just as the deadly blast was about to hit the young queen, Red removed the hand mirror from her purse and used it to shield herself. Marina's magic bounced off the mirror and headed straight back for her. Marina was hit by her own magic and burst into millions of pieces. Who's the idiot now, Marina? Red said. When Connor and the others opened their eyes, they were shocked to see that Red was still standing, and the witch was dead. Darling, that was incredible, Froggy cheered. Red, you're a genius, Connor shouted. How did you know that the mirror would reflect her magic? Bree asked. Glamorous magazine, Red said with a shrug. I read this wonderful article on the plane that said if a woman wants to be saved, she'll find the greatest savior in the mirror. I don't know who they were talking to, but they certainly saved me. Her friends had never been so thankful for this misinterpretation. Red climbed the ladder and cut Froggy loose from the billboard with the Swiss Army knife, and they all helped each other to the ground. But before Froggy could get to the others, Red stopped him. Charlie, I really want to get married, she said. Well, so do I, darling. No, you don't understand, she said. I want to get married right now. Froggy knew from the desperate look in her eyes that Red was dead serious. Sweetheart, are you sure that now is a good time? He said. I'm positive, Red said. If the last month has taught me anything, it's how unpredictable life can be. And when you're friends with the Bailey twins, this could very well be your last chance that we ever get. So let's do it now in a square of times before another magical being can tear us apart. The idea made Froggy's heart fill with joy, but he wasn't convinced it was the right thing to do. Are you sure this is the wedding that you want? He asked. I don't mean to be crude, but The whole street is covered in witch remains. A large and self-assured smile grew across Red's face. Charlie, I can't think of a better place to get married than on the ashes of your ex-girlfriend. Mother Goose, will you do the honors? Besides being pinned to the ground by a 3-ton lion statue, Mother Goose couldn't think of a reason why she couldn't perform the ceremony. I suppose I'm available, she said. Wonderful, Red squealed. And for all intents and purposes, we'll say that the Fairy Council are our witnesses. Connor's the best man. Alex will be my maid of honor. Don't worry, Alex. This will only take a minute and you can get right back to helping. Red and Froggy joined hands and stood in the middle of Times Square as Mother Goose officiated this impromptu wedding. Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today against our will to unexpectedly watch this frog and this woman join in questionable matrimony. That you, Charlie Charmington, take Red Riding Hood as your lovable but very high-maintenance wife? I do, Froggy declared. And do you, Red Riding Hood, take Charlie as your adorably web-footed husband? I do, Red said. Yeah, well then it's within the power mistrusted to me that I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the frog. Red and Froggy shared their first kiss as a married couple, and their friends cheered. Beautiful ceremony, my dear, Merlin said. Believe it or not, this isn't the strangest wedding I've ever been to, Mother Goose said. Now will someone get this stone feline off of me? Fortunately, they didn't have to. Alex soared across Manhattan as her magic consumed the island below her. The lion statues leaped off Mother Goose and Merlin and followed Alex, jumping from rooftop to rooftop across the city. Red and Froggy cut the cables around Connor and Bree and then sliced through the vines trapping the Fairy Council. What do we do now? Bree asked. Well, we need to get off this island and regroup with the others, Connor said. Now that she's been ordered to destroy the other world, Alex isn't going to stop until we break the curse. Any ideas how to break it? Froggy asked. Yeah, just one, Connor said, but I'm really praying we find another way. Yikes. Chapter 21 is called A Brother's Burden. A wave of Alex's destructive vines chased after Connor, his friends, the Fairy Council, as they all ran through New York City streets. The fairies zapped the approaching plants with enchantments to keep them off their tail, but every time they destroyed one vine, a dozen grew in its place. It's like Manhattan sinking into the thornbush pit, Connor said. What's a thornbush pit? Bree asked. It's this dangerous sinkhole in the fairy tale world, Connor explained. Alex and I had to go inside and retrieve the item for the wishing spell. But you know what's funny? After all this, that now seems like a good memory. Speak for yourself, Froggy said. Luckily, the group came to an intersection that crossed paths with Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, with Cornelius. They too were on the run from the atrocious vines covering the city. The unicorn carried Rook's body on his back, and the knights had covered him in candy wrappers from the witch's base. Did you find Alex? Arthur asked. We did, Red said, and as you can see from the demonic plants covering the city, that did not go so well. A witch ordered Alex to destroy the world, starting with the city, Connor said. We're trying to get off the island so we can come up with a plan to stop her. And eventually they reached the Hudson River on the west side of Manhattan. Merlin transformed into a pigeon. Merlin transformed a pigeon into a small ferry, and everyone boarded it and sailed across the river to Liberty Island. Connor was virtually speechless as he watched Alex's magic consume the city beside them. His sister had come a long way from the bookworm in Mrs. Peters' 6th grade classroom. The ferry docked on Liberty Island, and Connor reunited with his friends and the characters from St. Andrew's Children's Hospital Commissary. Charlotte and Bob were overjoyed to see that Connor and his friends were safe. They charged through the crowds on the island and gave him a huge hug. All the pirates, superheroes, archaeologists, and cyborgs appeared to be in great spirits given the circumstances, but their demeanor quickly changed when they noticed the body on Cornelius's back. What happened? Bold asked. Rook saved Alex's life, Connor informed them. He stepped in front of a sniper's bullet before it hit her. My God, Bob said. His poor father. Where's your sister now? Charlotte asked. She's currently destroying the biggest city in the United States, Connor said. You know, just typical teenage stuff. His mother let out a frustrated sigh. Is there nothing we can do to stop this curse? Nothing worth mentioning, Connor said, and Lester swooped down toward Liberty Island with Jack and Goldilocks holding Hero on his back. Everyone was relieved to see that the parents had rescued their child from the witches. Jack and Goldilocks were thankful that their friends had gotten out of the city in time. There you are, Jack said. We circled the park, but we couldn't find a place to land. The whole city's just covered in vines. Yeah, tell me about it, Connor said. What happened to all the witches? We took care of them. Well, most of them, but a few might have escaped the city. I don't know, Goldilocks said. Any luck with Alex? Connor shook his head. No, I wish I had better news. I do. Froggy and I got married, Red announced. Oh, and I also killed Marina with a hand mirror, and I know an afternoon of murder and matrimony sounds awfully tacky, but honestly, it was quite lovely. Froggy looked down at Jack and Goldilocks' newborn son, and a wide smile stretched across his face. This must be Hero, he said. Oh, I keep forgetting you haven't met him yet, Goldilocks said. Hero, this is your Uncle Froggy. She passed the infant into Froggy's arms, and Froggy's eyes became extra glossy at the sight of his nephew. Hero stared up at Froggy like he was the most fascinating thing that he'd ever seen. He's beautiful, Froggy said. You'd have seen what he looked like when he came out, Red whispered. I didn't eat for days after seeing that. While the two were being introduced, Connor was shocked to see that the majority of the literary army was scattered across Liberty Island. The card soldiers from Wonderland, the pirates from Neverland, all sat on the ground in handcuffs. The Winkies guarded the prisoners, and although Connor couldn't put his finger on it, there was something real different about them. Like the light had returned to their eyes. The flying monkeys were twitching, covered with static electricity that lay across the grass virtually comatose, but Connor noticed a difference in them too. He saw that Bluebow was snuggled up in his parents' lap, happily picking the bugs off their bodies. Wait a second, did you guys defeat the entire literary army without us? Connor asked with an excited smile. We sure did, Peter Pan announced. Hey, Smiley Angel, you can sleep. You okay? You want to go in your chair? You want to go in your chair? You can go in your chair. You want to go in the chair? Would that be more fun? Here. Here you go. Did you have a good nap? There you go, baby. There you go. Okay. All right, here we go. My chair seems to have somehow gotten pushed backwards, and we need to fix that. Here we go. Are you good? You want to play with your tape? That's very nice, huh, honey? Yeah. That's very nice. Okay, where were we? We sure did, Peter Pan announced. The Dalai Lama's crew and I fought Captain Hook and his pirates on the top of the Empire State Building. Auburn Sally sliced off his hand and the captain fell to his death. The Mad Moth roared like a triceratops to remind Peter of his involvement, which startled everyone on Liberty Island. Oh, yeah, and the Blissworm hatched from its cocoon and it saved Tinkerbell, Peter added. That's the Blissworm? Bree asked. Boy, I thought my imagination was warped. What else happened while we were in the park? Connor asked. Bolt electrocuted the flying monkeys on the Chrysler building, Blaze bragged about his brother. The Merry Men and the Lost Boys defeated the Wicked Witch at Lincoln Center, Bo Rogers said, and when she was dead, the Winkies and the monkeys were freed from her magic spell. I've made many women melt in my day, but she was the first one to actually dissolve, Robin Hood said. And that Tin Woodman beheaded the Queen of Hearts in Washington Square Park while our cyborgs captured her cod soldiers, Commander Neuter said. Bree couldn't help noticing that Trollbella and the Tin Woodman were holding hands. What's going on here with you two? She asked. Are you guys like a thing?
If we must define our relationship in your uncivilized monster terms, then yes, we're a thing, Trobella said. I spent my whole life longing after my butter boy, but it turns out what I really need was a butter tray.
Connor was bursting with so much pride for all of his friends and characters for what they had accomplished that he didn't have room to be disturbed by Trollbella and the Tin Woodsman's new relationship. But who told you how to defeat the literary army? He asked. I mean, even I would have had to consult a librarian. Your mom did, Bolt said. Connor was pleasantly surprised to hear it. Really? Yeah, at first we didn't know what to do either, Charlotte said, and then I thought, what would Alex and Connor do if they were in my shoes? So I took a page out of your book and I wrote a story about meeting James M. Barrie, L. Frank Baum, and Lewis Carroll. I splashed the pages with a few drops from the portal potion and I stepped into the beam of light. I asked the authors how to defeat their characters. What did they say? Well, Sir James Barrie said that Captain Hook's greatest weakness was revenge and that he would never give up if he had the chance to cut off Peter's hand. Mr. Baum said the Wicked Witch of the West was so evil that she could be melted by water, so it's nice to know that the movie did depict something correctly. And lastly, Mr. Carroll said that the Queen of Hearts would never pass up an opportunity to chop off a unique head, so I relayed all this information to Arthur and he put the whole plan into motion. Wow. Over the years, Charlotte had given Connor plenty of reasons to be a proud son, but hearing how she'd acquired the information necessary to defeat an entire army definitely took the cake. However, I know, crazy, right? Are you proud of Mommy? Thank you. However, before Connor could shower his mom with praise, he suddenly froze and went dead silent because her methods gave him an idea. Oh my gosh, he said. I know how to break the curse. I know how to save my sister. Connor instantly had everyone's attention. Even Hero was interested in what he had come up with, but before Connor shared his plan, he ran to the edge of Liberty Island and looked across the river to the Manhattan skyline. Most of the island was covered in his sister's vines, but Alex herself was nowhere in sight. Hi, beautiful angel. Oh, are you clapping for them? Good job. Good job. I need a better view of the city, Connor said. Lester, could you give me a lift to Lady Liberty's torch? The giant gander leaned down so that Connor could climb up onto his back. Bree's curiosity got the best of her, so she jumped aboard Lester too. They flew to the top of the Statue of Liberty, and Lester dropped the teenagers off on Lady Liberty's torch. So, Bree asked, how are you going to break the curse? Connor shrugged. Oh, I have no idea. Okay, then what's your secret plan? She asked. I'm going to ask someone who does have an idea, he said. But first I need to know exactly where Alex is. Otherwise this plan isn't going to work. They scanned the city. It was like an ancient text. Finally they spotted Alex drifting through the buildings of downtown Manhattan. She flew to the top of the Freedom Tower and watched her vines spreading through the streets below. The lion statues climbed the sides of the towering skyscraper and joined her. Oh, wow. Wow. You silly girl. Great, she landed, Connor said. If we can just get her away... Thank you for clapping, honey. If we can just get her away from those statues, I might have a shot at saving her. Suddenly, something moving in the Hudson River caught their attention. A small boat painted in camouflage colors was speeding up the river. The boat docked on Liberty Island, and they watched as General Wilson, a dozen Marines, and a very familiar old woman climbed onto the island. Cornelia? Bree said in disbelief. What the heck is she doing here? Connor and Bree quickly climbed aboard Lester, and the gander transported them back to the ground. By the time they arrived, all the characters had gathered around Cornelia, the general, and his Marines. I'm here on urgent business, so everyone listen carefully, General Wilson said. I don't know who you people are, where you're from, or why you're in my country, but you need to return home immediately. Seriously, Gunther, Cornelia berated him. Do you really expect people to respect you when you address them like that? Not all of us are Marines, you know. The general did his best to ignore her remarks, but everyone could tell that they were getting under his skin. In less than an hour, the United States military will be dropping a nuclear weapon on the city of New York, he announced. Unless you want to be caught in its detonation range, you must leave this island at once. What? Charlotte gasped. You can't nuke the city, Connor yelled. My sister's still over there. I'm sorry for your loss, but the decision has been made, General Wilson said. This is exactly what I warned you about, Gunther, Cornelia said. Had you just listened to me when I first told you about the portals to the other dimension, nothing like this would even be happening right now. The general's nostrils flared. Cornelia, I invited you here to help me communicate with these people, not reprimand me in front of them. You invited me here? She asked. 40 armed guards showed up at my house in the middle of the night. They pulled me out of my bed, threw me into the back of a jeep. That's your definition of an invitation. I hate to see how you arrest someone. Cornelia, how do you and the general know each other? We used to date, Cornelia explained. I spent years trying to warn him about the portal between the worlds, but no matter how much interdimensional evidence I gathered, he never took the Sisters Grimm seriously. And now, here we are, minutes away from destroying the greatest city in the world. That is not the time to say, I told you so, the general barked. I don't need to say it, Cornelia snapped. It's abundantly clear. Okay, time out for a second, Connor shouted. Obviously you two have issues that never got resolved, but can we go back to the part about nuking New York City? That cannot be our only option. And General Wilson pointed across the river to the vines demolishing the city throughout downtown. We have to stop that from spreading to the rest of the world, he said. Unless you've got a better idea, the army will be dropping a nuke in 35 minutes. Connor glanced at his sister on top of the Freedom Tower. His plan to free Alex from the curse would be the most difficult mission of his life, but he would rather die trying to save her than do nothing and watch her perish. Actually, I do have a better idea, he said. Does anyone have a pen? The Freedom Tower was the tallest building in Manhattan and provided Alex with a breathtaking view of the city as she destroyed it. At the very top of the building, wrapped around the base of the antenna, was a communication platform ring. The 3-level platform was filled with radio equipment, giant lights, wires, and hundreds of support beams. Alex and the lion statues walked around the platform as they watched the vines consume the Big Apple below them. Suddenly, the Mad Moth whooshed out of the sky and knocked both of the lion statues to a rooftop nearby. Whoa, sweetheart. That's such a good loud sound. Honey, can we work on our soft sounds? La 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 la. La 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 la. Very good, honey. The massive insect roared like a banshee and pounded the statues into smithereens. The Mad Moth gobbled up the small chunks of stone before they could rematerialize into the lions. The thunderous burp erupted from the alien's mouth, causing the windows of a neighboring building to shatter. Ew, but good job. Unbeknownst to Alex, while she watched the Mad Moth devour her stone guardians, Lester had snuck onto the roof behind her and dropped off 8 passengers. Alex heard their footsteps as they spread out on the platform, and when she turned around, there was no one in sight. Alex briskly walked through the levels of the platform and searched for the intruders. I spent the last 38 hours wondering how I could help you, Connor called out from his hiding spot. I thought of spells, potions, charms, enchantments, and none of them were powerful enough to break the curse. And then I remembered that when we were kids, nothing helped you forget your troubles more than a good story. So I wrote you one, and here it goes. Connor stepped out from behind a support beam, and Alex hit her brother with a bright burst of light. It knocked him unconscious, and Connor collapsed on the platform. Yeah, that is pretty sad, honey. Seeing her brother injured, even by her own hand, broke the curse temporarily, and Alex returned to normal. Connor! She yelled, and she hurried to her brother's side, and when she arrived, she discovered that it wasn't actually her brother. Oh my god, I totally forgot this, you guys. It was Arthur. The young king had been transformed to look like Connor, and once Alex realized that she had been tricked, the curse returned tenfold. Bad, not good, honey baby. The real Connor cleared his throat from wherever he was hiding, and he began his story. I must seal myself. I have chills. I have like full body chills. We're gonna drink a little bit of this warm liquid over here real quick to get this calmed down. Oh my god. It's okay. We're fine. Everything's fine. We can handle this. We're grown-ups. We can handle it. We're grown-ups. We can handle it. That's false. She's lying. She's trying to convince herself. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little girl, and she was very smart, and she loved to learn more than anything else in the world. The little girl was the best student at her school, and she surpassed her classmates in every subject that they studied. Unfortunately, the other students became jealous of the little girl and they were intimidated by her. So instead of praising her intelligence, the children teased and bullied her for being so smart. They wouldn't play with her on the playground or eat lunch with her in the cafeteria, and the little girl became very lonely. Yeah, it's sad, right, honey? Alex saw her brother running across the third level of the platform. She zapped him. I know, honey, let's be quiet for a second. She zapped him with another burst of light and he collapsed. However, when she went to check on him, she found it wasn't him. It was Jack laying on the floor instead. What are we doing right now, you guys? Whenever the little girl felt sad, she would read a new book from the library. The characters in the stories became her friends, inspiring the little girl to read as much as she could. The more she read, the smarter that little girl became, and the smarter she became, the more people resented her for it. Connor then appeared on the bottom level of the platform. He leapt over the railing and landed on the level above. Alex blasted her brother with another beam of light and discovered it was actually Froggy. But this time the curse didn't even break so she could check on him. It knew the game that Connor was playing. Oh, I know. It's so sad, right, honey? Yeah, is it so sad? Yeah. Is it so sad? Are you all done? Do you want to go in the playpen? Should we go in the playpen so that we can finish this without screamy pants? Do you want to do that? Do you want to go in the playpen? Okay, let's go. Okay, we'll go. Just give mommy a second. Yeah, I'm right here. Okay. Come here. Okay, here we go. There we go. Yeah. You know what I should probably do? I should probably put the tripod on the outside of the playpen so she can't knock it over, right? That's the smarter thing to do. But then how do I block her? What are we gonna do? Let's see how we're gonna make this work. You wanna play with Stanley? Say hi, Stanley. Or do you wanna play with this ball? Can I convince you to play with that ball? Thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know, Sloth. I can't remember. Counter clamp. I do need a counter clamp. By the time the little girl was a young woman, she was the leader of a faraway kingdom. The young woman's passion for knowledge made her a very wise ruler, and the mistreatment she experienced as a child made her sympathetic to other people's needs. Unfortunately, the young woman's superior leadership made her intimidate the adults in her life. They became envious of her abilities and made her life difficult whenever they could. Connor popped up from behind a satellite dish, and Alex struck her brother with another burst of light, and Charlotte collapsed on the floor. That's their mommy. That's their mommy, honey. Since there always seemed to be consequences for the young woman's good qualities, she gravely feared the consequences of a bad quality. So the young woman held herself to an unhealthy level of perfectionism and never allowed herself to make a mistake. It was hard enough being resented without reason. She couldn't imagine how difficult the world would be if she gave it a reason to hate her. Alex saw Connor skipping across the platform above her, and she hit him with yet another ray of light, and red rolled onto the roof. One day, the adults in the young woman's life created a plan to exploit her abilities for themselves. They put a terrible curse on her that... Whoa! Hey, honey. What about this? Do you want to go over here? What's this? Do you want to talk on your phone? Hello? Who is it? Sorry, what? You want to talk to her? It's for you, honey. Yeah, it's for you. You talk. Yeah. They put a terrible curse on her that caused the young woman to feel and do awful things at their command. And even though she was being forced against her will, the young woman was such a perfectionist that she blamed herself for every terrible act she committed. She was so ashamed that she asked a loved one to take her life, believing it was the only way to end her suffering. Then Connor peeked out from behind the Freedom Tower's antenna, and Alex hit her brother with a powerful ray of light, but he transformed into Cornelius. But it wasn't the young woman's fault for thinking this way. You see, no one ever told her it was okay to make mistakes. No one told her that there was nothing wrong with needing help. No one told her it was normal to feel upset or angry or overwhelmed now and then. Everyone in her life took her perfectionism for granted and didn't realize how suffocating it was. And because no one gave the young woman permission to be human, she thought she was a failure for being one. Alex spotted Connor doing a headstand on the radio antenna. She hit him with another blast of light and Emeralda tumbled to the floor. You are that young woman, Alex. People made you feel bad for being accomplished, and now that you're cursed, it feels like the end of the world. You're so used to being in control, sweetheart. You're so close to the microphone, they can only hear you. Can we go? Where's your purse? And Catherine got you a purse. Can you put your phone in the purse? Wow, so nice. You're so used to being in control that you've disappointed everyone by being vulnerable. You think you can, and you can't control it. But the only thing that would ever disappoint us would be if you gave up fighting, Alex. So I won't let this curse be the end of you. I know you can save yourself from it if you just cut yourself some slack. Suddenly, her brother's binder of short stories slid between Alex's feet, and the real Connor jumped out from hiding and wrapped his arms around her. If I can't convince you, I know someone else who will. And Connor dropped the flask of portal potion across the binder's pages, and a beam of light shot up, and the Bailey twins disappeared into the most important story that Connor had ever written. Oh, my darling. My darling. I know, honey, I know. I know you really want the tripod. I know. Okay. Let's see if we can do it a different way. Let's see if mommy can be better about this. What can we do? What if mommy sits right here? Over here. What if I sit here with the tripod on the outside? There we go. I can do hard things, you guys. I can defeat an almost 1-year-old. Guys, we might cry now. Okay. All right. So we are going to read Connor's most important story. Chapter 22 is called A Speculation Story. Brace yourselves, guys. Brace yourselves. The twins entered the Sweetheart, do you want to... What's this? What's over there? Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. Wow. Can you read this book to mommy? Can you read that book to mommy? What about this? And this? You have an infinite number of toys. She has great comedic timing. It's true. What am I sitting on? This. Can you throw that ball? Go get it. Go get it. The twins entered a bright and endless world with the portal potion. The story that Connor had written was so short that it didn't take long for his handwriting to take shape and form the world that he created. He had written the story so quickly that there hadn't been time to include much detail. All that materialized in the empty space around them was a familiar white door. Yes, my darling, do you have something you want to say? You have something you want to say? No, let's not reach through to the tripod. She's too smart. That's my problem. She's like, the tripod's on the outside of the playground, no big deal. It's got bars. I'll just reach right through. Alex's eyes stopped glowing and her hair stopped floating above her head, and she looked around the story in a daze. Wait, why are we crying? Hold on, let's focus for a second. Why are we crying? Mirror! You like the mirror? Nom, such a tasty mirror. It's so yummy. Enjoy. What else do we have? Clifford from Uncle Ben. Clifford, what else? Where is Ellie? Your favorite book. Do you want to read Where is Ellie Hiding? Here you go. My niece is like that. She's like, I can get to it. I feel normal, she said. Connor, you broke the curse. How did you make it go away? No, unfortunately, it's not over yet, Connor explained. You're still cursed. I just can't... It doesn't affect you in this story. I wrote about a world where curses don't exist. Oh, it's nice to...
baby angel. You are my most precious thing. I love you so much. What is happening right now? What is happening, baby? What is happening? Okay. Okay, you want a hug from mommy? Okay, you can sit with mommy. How about that? Okay. Okay. What's over there? Who's that? Is that a teddy bear? Can you make it go to the castle? Wow. Can it go to the castle? Can the bear go to the castle? Help him. Help the bear get to the castle. The saddest noise. Tripod, go for it. The tripod's not a safe toy. Let's be real about this for a second. She could like poke an eye out. Can you help the bear go to the castle? She has plenty of safe toys. Oh, thanks, Becca. Whoop. Yeah. It's nice to have a clear head again, even if it's only temporary, Alex said. If we don't find a way to break the curse, maybe I should just stay here. What kind of story is this, anyway? It was difficult for Connor to describe it. Hello. It was difficult for Connor to describe it. Well, it's sort of a speculation piece, he said. I wrote a story about what our lives would be like if we ever had a reason, if we didn't have a reason to move out of our own house. No, we're not in a crib. We're in playpen. We're in the playpen. Yes. You mean, she said, but she couldn't finish her thought. Connor sighed. I don't know. Maybe. Let's go in there and find out. And the twins went through the white door and stepped into the living room of their old house. At first glance, the room was exactly the way they remembered it, and the further they walked into the house, they noticed just a few subtle changes. All the photos in the picture frames had been changed to current ones of their family. There were pictures of birthday parties and family vacations, holiday trips and embarrassing school portraits. Even though the twins were present in each photo, Alex and Connor didn't remember any of the memories that were on display. It's like an alternate reality, Alex said. Look, this school pictures me in 9th grade, but I was already living in the fairy tale world by then. Maybe we never discovered the land of stories, Connor said. If we'd stayed in this house, maybe Grandma wouldn't have had a reason to give us her storybook, if you know what I mean. What's wrong, baby? Can we finish this chapter? Are you going to make me finish this tomorrow? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. What's that? Who's over there? Oh, look. Oh, can you find the wolf? Where's the wolf? Where's your wolf? Can you find him? Where is he? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Can you go get him? Over there. Oop. It's honey. Honey, it's okay. Sometimes we trip. You're okay. You landed on your bottom. Honey, your bottom is soft. That's what this padding is for, bottom lands. What's this? Haboo. Whoa. Whoa. Can you go get that? Can you go get the ball? She said, probably not. She's not walking, but she can stand and cruise along the side of the playpen. But she cannot walk independently, no. Almost, though. She's getting there. She's trying. Are you trying? Brrr. Can we say, la, 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 la? Oh, we're crying instead? What's this? You don't want to play with any of the things you have here? You have so many things. What about reading this Clifford's First Christmas book? You want to read that book? Or have your crinkle? Such a good crinkle. It's the best crinkle. Both babies loved it. I wonder how many people are scrolling by and thinking that I'm in a crib. It's pretty funny, actually, though. Okay. Can we read this, honey? Can we read this? Yeah. Can we read the story? Okay. Alex absolutely knew what her brother...
Alex absolutely knew what her brother meant, and she nodded. Suddenly, the sound of clanking pots and pans came from the next room. The twins weren't alone. They walked down the hall and peered into the kitchen, and both froze in the doorway when they laid eyes on the person who was making the noise. "Dad," Alex gasped. It wasn't until she said the word that Alex realized how long it had been since she last said it. The twins' father, John Bailey, was standing just a few feet away from them behind the kitchen counter. He wore an apron that was covered in flour and was in the middle of mixing ingredients in a large bowl. The twins noticed that their father was slightly older than their last memory of him, and his hair had started to gray around his temples, and crow's feet were more pronounced there than they used to be. "Hey guys," their father said. "You're just in time. I know we promised Mom we were going to try to eat less sugar, but I left work with the biggest craving for chocolate chip cookies. I need help eating these before she gets home." It's very high-pitched. Wow. It's very impressive, honey. You're definitely a soprano. He looked at his children with a smile that they hadn't seen in 4 years. "Sweetheart, it's okay. Do you want this book?" Seeing their father again made Alex so happy that she cried harder than she had ever cried in her entire life. But these were tears of joy that washed away the specks of magic dust in her eyes. "Honey. Can Mommy finish this one?" "Tell me everything you want to say. Go ahead. Tell me whatever you have to say." "Do you want a snack? Look at Mommy. You want to eat? Yeah? Okay. You can eat. Here. Look. Yeah, here. Look at all this. And that's Mommy's book. Here's your snack." The tears of joy washed away all the specks of magic dust in her eyes, and the warmth in her heart disintegrated all the magic dust in her lungs, and every trace of the witch's curse was erased from her body. Their father had barely said a word, and had already done exactly what Connor had hoped that he would. Even though it was only a story, Connor couldn't help becoming emotional himself. The person he had missed every day since he was 11 years old was standing right in front of him. How could he not be moved to tears? John was very surprised to see the tears running down his children's faces. He wiped his hands on a washcloth and stepped out from behind the kitchen counter to take a closer look. "Hey, what's wrong?" he asked. "Did something happen at school today?" "No," Connor answered. We just really missed you. That's all." "It's so good to see you again," Alex sniffed. And the twins gave their father the biggest hug physically possible and cried some more into his shoulders. John eyed the twins suspiciously, and even in Connor's fictional world, John knew his children better than anyone. "Are you sure everything's okay?" he asked. "I'd love to hear what's on your minds." "Well, Alex had a rough day," Connor said. "Some girls at school were really cruel to her. They made her feel bad and do some stuff that she regrets, and even though it wasn't her fault, she won't stop blaming herself for everything that happened." "Hey, Isabella." "Oh, really?" John asked. "Well, if it wasn't your fault, then why is it troubling you so much?" And Alex just shrugged. "Even though I didn't intentionally hurt anyone, people still got hurt because of me. I didn't know that I was capable of so much damage. It changed how I look at myself." John dried his daughter's tears with the edge of his apron. "Hey, the good news is it's never too late to rewrite your own story," he said. "If you feel like something's wrong, there's always a chance to make things right, no matter who's to blame. But you should never feel responsible for other people's choices. That's too big of a burden for anyone to carry." "Yeah, I know," Alex said. "I just want to be doing my best. I hate looking back and feeling like I could have done better." "But sweetheart, that's how we grow," John said with a laugh. "What makes you think that you have to be so perfect?" "I suppose it goes back to the stories you used to read us," Alex said. "You raised us to believe that if someone is kind and generous and responsible, that they'll live happily ever after. So ever since I was a kid, I tried my hardest to be one of those people, and I thought being perfect was the only way I could guarantee a happy ending. But now that I'm older, I realize that life isn't a fairy tale, and no matter how much work you put into it, happily ever after, well, it really doesn't exist." Of all the things his daughter had said so far, this is what concerned John the most. He took Alex by the hand and sat her at the kitchen table, and then he had a seat beside her. "Sweetheart,
Happily ever after does exist. It's just not what you think it is, he said. Happily ever after isn't a solution to life's problems or a guarantee that life will be easy. It's just a promise that we make to ourselves that we'll live our best lives, despite whatever circumstances come our way. When we focus on the joy in times of heartbreak, when we choose to laugh on the days it's hard to smile, and when we count our blessings over our losses, that is when true happily ever after exists. You don't get there by being perfect. No, on the contrary. It's our humanity that guides us to it, and that's what fairy tales have been trying to teach us all along. Yeah, but what about death? Connor asked. How do you keep living happily ever after when you lose someone that you love? Well, now you're troubling... Oh, sorry, guys. I'm moving here because she decided to be over there. Now you're troubled over something that you can't control, John said. The only power we have over death is how we choose to define it. Personally, when someone dies, I don't believe that they cease to exist. The people we love the most will always be alive thanks to the stories we tell and the memories that we share. As long as we keep our loved ones in our heart, their pulse will continue to beat through our own. The twins knew that their father was telling them the truth. If death was the end to a soul's existence, then how could they be sitting in front of him, getting advice from him? Connor barely had time to write the setting of the story, and his father's words of wisdom weren't coming from his imagination. Well, I hope that was helpful, John said. Are there any other questions I can answer for you? There were millions of questions that Alex and Connor wanted to ask him. However, instead of taking a moment to ask him anything, the twins were compelled to tell him something instead. I just wanted to say that I love you, Daddy, Alex said, with all my heart. Yeah, me too, Dad, Connor said, and I always will. John was very amused by his teenager's loving behavior. The sentiments touched his heart nonetheless. Hey, I love you guys too, he said, and don't worry, I'll always be right here whenever you need me. And a soft rumble came from another part of the house. The twins didn't recognize it at first, but eventually they remembered it as the sound of the garage door opening. Uh-oh, guess your mom got off work early, John said. We are so busted. Quick, help me put away the cookie dough before she comes inside. Their father quickly got to his feet and ran back behind the kitchen counter. Strangely, the rumbling of the garage door never stopped. It became louder and louder, and soon the whole house was vibrating strongly. Object by object, the twins' former home turned back into the words of Connor's story. What's happening? Alex asked. The story must be over, Connor said. I've never seen it do this before, but I've never written something so short either. We gotta get out of here. I don't want to leave, Alex said. If we don't get out of here, we'll end with the story, Connor warned her. It's one of the rules of the portal potion. Connor grabbed Alex's hand and pulled his sister out of her chair. Only after their father dematerialized into Connor's handwriting did Alex let him pull her away. The twins raced through the sitting room and out the front door. They dived through the beam of light emitted by Connor's story, and the twins landed on the back of the roof of the Freedom Tower. Back on the roof of the Freedom Tower. The beam shining out of Connor's binder disappeared. Whoa, that was an emotional roller coaster, Connor said. But how do you feel? Alex was surprised by her answer. Actually, I feel pretty good, she said. I think a few moments with Dad was exactly what I needed. Thank you for coming to my rescue, Connor. You really are the best brother in the whole world. I know, Connor teased, but you were worth the trouble. The twins helped each other to their feet and walked to the edge of the roof. Now that the curse was broken, the magical vines stopped destroying the city. Manhattan was covered in so many plants that the city just looked like an enormous green grid. Wow, Alex said. Did I really do all of this? Well, it certainly is a mess, isn't it? Connor said. I barely remember any of it, she said. I can't imagine how upset all the New Yorkers must be. Before you start writing apology notes, we should really think of a way to clean it up, her brother said. Everyone in the world's gonna know about the fairy tale world after this. And Alex just sighed. Gosh, I wish there was a way to just put everyone to sleep and erase their memories. It would sure help me deal with all this guilt. Hey, why not? Connor said. It's kind of brilliant, actually. Do you really think that's possible? Alex asked him. And for the first time in more than a week, Connor laughed. Alex, you just destroyed New York City in your sleep. I think you're capable of doing anything that you set your mind to. That's page 400. Tomorrow, we will We will finish because we only have 434. There's only 34 more pages to go. Well, that was an emotional roller coaster, as Connor says. And thank you for being quiet for the end of it, my angel. That was really nice of you. It turns out you just needed a snack, huh? Do you want to finish your snack? The last one's right here. This is the last one, but we're going to the grocery store today. This is your last blueberry drop. You want it? Don't worry, she has other snacks. It's just this snack. Yes, it is wild. All right, so we will obviously finish this up tomorrow. I had to hide in the Oh, I know. It's so, like, when they see their dad do just, like, die, she does, like, snacks during book club, which is weird because she ate a lot right before book club, so I don't think she's actually hungry. I think it's just wanting something because usually the amount that she drank right before, a holiday party, that's fine, should sustain her for more than an hour, and it's only been an hour, so, you know. But anyway, that is fine. So I will see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow, I would definitely suggest hiding in a bathroom, especially for the epilogue. Yeah. All right, I will see you all on the flip side. Have a good Meryl. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'd let her eat every hour if she wanted to, but she mostly declines. Bet. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day.